Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel and welcome back to Zoho series. So in this episode we are going to see a slightly different problem from our usual trend. This question has been asked in the Zoho second round itself. So if you see here in this program, they just given you two input strings and one output value. Okay, so usually what kind of problems we have came across is they'll give you a sample input and sample output, a single input and single output, based on which you need to find the logic and write the program, or they'll give you the scenario in detailed manner itself. But here they're given you two input and one output. This is the question. The question will be like, find out the logic from the above sample input and output case and write the program using any one of the programming languages. So this is the question. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, here I have to find out the logic based on this input and output. So first you see here the input 1 is test123 string. Okay, and the input 2 is 123. So by seeing itself we can easily identify, or we can say that string 2, that is input string 2, is a substring of string 1. I'm correct? That is, this input string 2 1 2 3 is present inside this input string 1. So this is the inference that I am getting by seeing this input strings. Okay ma'am. Now how the output they have derived as 4 means, you just see the index of input string 1. T is 0 and E is 1 and S is 2 and this is 3 and 1 is 4 and 2 is 5 and 3 is 6 and this goes 7 and 8, then this is 9, then I is 10, N is 11 and G is 12. So totally this is a 12 character string, that is string 1, and my output is 4. So what you can see, the 4 index value is 1. So which means the output indicates the start index of string 2 in string 1. Are you able to follow this? So string 2 value is 1, 2, 3, a numbers or any group of strings. Okay, so this 1, 2, 3 is my string 2. The start of this string 2 character is 1 and this character is present in the string 1 at the index of 4, at the 4th index. So my output value is 4. Okay, so output is nothing but the start index of string 2 in string 1. So this is my logic. So what I have to do is I have to write a program to find this index, that string 2 start index in the string 1. So the logic has been found out. Now writing the program part is only left out. Okay, now I'll show you the another example. Before we go into the problem and solve the problems, I'll show you the another test case scenario. Consider my input 1 is RUT 1 2 3 coding. Okay, and my input 2 is RUT placement. Okay, now my output is, what will be my output? Any guesses? Okay, fine. See, my input is RUT 1 2 3 coding, my output is RUT placement. You cannot say the output index is 0. Why? Because ma'am, that there is the RUT is there. The RUT is there in the input also. The start index of string 2, that is RUT R. Start index of this R and string 1 is 0. So my output is 0. The index is, the output indicates the index only, right? So my output is 0. No, it's wrong. See, this is a single string without any spaces. This is RUT placement is a single string. So you need to find the exact match of string 2 in this string 1. Then only you have to print this output, the index as an output. Okay, if you couldn't find the exact match of string 2 in a string 1, you should not print any output. You should print, no, there is no match of string 2 in string 1. Likewise, any statements you can print. Okay, they'll give you 2 test cases, don't worry. They'll give you all kind of test cases as a sample test cases. So that you can match all kind of scenarios. Okay, in program, to tell you guys this scenario, I just given this one alone. Understood? Fine. And while solving the problem, I'll tell you some 2 to 3 scenarios while after you understand the problem and after we wrote the coding, I'll tell you the problems. I mean, two more three sample test cases, and then we'll try to find the answer for that. Okay. Now let's go to the Visual Studio and starts coding. All the programs in C starts with the main function as always. Okay. So let's start our code from the int main, and the definition for the main function is present inside this #include stdio dot h header file. Okay. Since we need to get two input strings from the user, I'm going to declare an input string 1 array and input string 2 array with the array size of 100. Okay. So you can extend the array size if your input string is bigger. Okay. So that's up to you to decide at the time of your interview or coding. So if you guys have been following us, you know that we are following the modular based approach. So we are going to write a separate function to get the input from the user, get input, and inside that I'm going to use input string 1 and pass input string 1 and input string 2 as the arguments to these functions. Okay. Since C language is a bottom-up approach, I'm going to define the function above the main function. So get input is my function, and I'm getting the arguments as input string. I'm storing those parameter values in my arguments as input string 1 and input string 2. Okay. You see the color change, that is gray color. Why? Because the scope of that variable which I am declaring inside the bracket is limited within this function, this open bracket and close bracket. Okay. Fine. So this is my arguments. Now inside this get input string function, what I am going to do is I'm going to ask the user to enter string 1, and the user enters the string 1, and I'm going to get the string and store it inside the variable input string 1. Okay. And again I'm going to ask the user to enter the string 2, and I'm going to store that string value inside the another variable called input string 2. Okay. So here comes a simple basic question for you guys. Why we are not using the ampersand to address or specify the compiler the address of the variable, while we are using the access specifier as %s. See, if you use %d, how we'll use the variable ampersand, that variable name, correct? So that which means what, we are indicating the compiler, see, this is the address for the variable, you are going to store that value in this particular location. My question is, why we are not using the ampersand while we are using a %s? So this question, you guys try to find the answer for that. Okay. Now we have got the value, and I'm going to print it in the output screen. So our first step is done. First step in any program is to get the input from the user, and the second step is try to code the logic, and the third step is printing it. It's as simple as it is. We have done the first step. Okay. So since we have done the first step, let's see whether the input that we are getting inside that function, get input function, is passing to this main function. Why we are checking this, I'll tell you in a short. First let's check this. Okay. So let's use the same input string, test string 123 and 123. You see, test string 123 and 123 both are printing in the output screen. This printf statement, I've just used it in the main. If you have any doubt from where it is printing, I'll just type main and I'll just run it. Test 123 string and 123, sorry, 12, okay, whatever. See, from main it is coming. See the variable, the first thing, main. Okay. So from main function it is printing. Okay. So this, let's delete this printf statement. I just typed it to show the input string is passing to the main function. See, here comes the another question. This get input function doesn't have any return value. Okay, and if you see the function definition, it's not returning anything, it's void. Okay, and I have already told you the scope of this input string variable 1 and 2 is limited within this open bracket and close bracket, that is within this get input function. Okay, in that case I'm not returning anything and the scope is limited, but how I am able to print this input 1 and input string 2 values in the main function? Correct? My question is valid, right? I'm not returning anything. Okay, but I'm getting the values and storing it in input string 1 and input string 2 from the user, and those two strings are local variables. That's why it is indicating in a gray color, because the scope is limited. But I'm using the same variable in the main function as well. Okay, but I can able to print the values of input string 1 and 2 inside the main function, but I said the scope is limited. Everything I've said is true. I can able to print it inside this main function. Just now I showed you that I can able to print both the strings inside that main function. Now your task is to find out how and why. So these are the two basic questions. It's a very much potential interview questions one person can encounter while you try to go into the day zero companies. Okay, so these kind of questions and all, these kind of basic technical questions and basic interview questions and basic C questions and all, we'll teach it in our classes in our academies. Okay, fine. Now you just try to find answer for that. Now let me solve the main logic of the program. Now let's go to our main logic. Okay, so our main logic work will do it in get index of, I'm naming the function name. Okay, get index of first occurrence. So this is my function name. Like in a clean code procedure, the function name should resemble or should replicate or should indicate the functionality which you are going to do inside that function. Okay, so since I'm going to get the index name, I am going to store it inside the index variable, and I'm going to declare an integer with the index as a variable. Okay, so the value that I'm going to return it from the get index first occurrence function, I'm going to get it inside this index variable, which is an integer variable. Since it is a top down approach as again, so I just copy paste this name with the return type as integer, and I'll passing these arguments, two arguments, that is in input string 1 character. Once again I'll just copy paste it, input string 1 with 100, and then character of input string 2 with 100. So this is my function. Okay, so inside this function, what I am going to do is, see how my logic I have found it is, first I have taken the string 1, and then inside that string 1 I have to search for the first occurrence of first character in string 2. Correct? So there has to be some two for loops, one inside the another. First has to be for the iteration 1 and second has to be for the iteration 2. I have to run a search in the string 1 using string 2. Correct? See, if you don't get the logic, kindly revisit this and listen to the thing that I've said once again. Okay, so for that I need two iterators, right? So iterator 1 and iterator 2. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to declare a for loop, as I said, iterator 1, which I'm going to start from 0 and till when means iterator, that is input string 1 of iterator, input string 1 of iterator 1 is not equal to character /0. So what is this character /0 means? In C programming, at the end of every character array or at the end of any array, the compiler will append /0 as the character to indicate that this is the end of the array, okay, to tell the compiler. So if the compiler reads /0, then which means it is the end of that array. So that is what it implies, okay. So iterator 1 plus plus, I'm incrementing the iterator. So as I said again, I need 2 iterators and 2 for loops. So iterator 2 starts from 0 and it has to run till input string of, or else how we can give the condition is you can use str, like string length of input string 1. Till then you have to run this iterator. Likewise also you can give the condition. In some compilers this /0 may not work. If it didn't work, you can use that, okay. Here also, if it didn't work, we'll try to use that, because this is the first time I'm also coding this program, so I didn't check it. So if it didn't work, we'll try the alternate way, no issues. So I have used the 2 for loops to do the iteration processes. I'm correct. So what I'm going to do is, if input string 1 of iterator 1 equal to input string iterator 2. See, what I am checking is if the input string 1 of iterator 1, that is the first place, no, input string 1 of iterator 1 is, wait, now let me take the presentation and I will. So now what I have to do is, I have to take this, see, this is the iterator 1 pointing here, right? Let's take iterator 1 as I1. And this is where iterator 2 is pointing. Am I correct? So let's take iterator 2 pointing as I2 and this is I1. So I have to check whether the input of iterator 1 is equal to input 2 of iterator 2. So I have to check whether these two are equal. Okay. And then I have to move to the next one, likewise to find which string here in the input 1, which character in the input 1 matches the character in the input 2. So this is what I'm going to do in my program. Okay. So if you see here, what we have done is, we just checked for the condition. Sorry, this is not input string, this is iterator 2. Okay. So we just checked for this condition, input string 1 of iterator 1 equal to input string 2 of iterator 2. So, but one problem here is, this inner loop alone will first increment and complete it, correct? The outer loop will increment it once the inner loop got completed. So till the inner loop completes, the iterator 1 value will be the first here itself, now where it is pointing. So iterator 1 value will be this t itself, like t alone. Okay. So if you want the iterator 1 to move to E, S and T and all, and to check, you want to move that, right? So for that, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to duplicate this iterator 1 and I'm going to assign this iterator 1 value into another variable, that is temporary iterator. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to assign this iterator 1 value for this temporary iterator before I start to this iterator 2. Okay. And likewise, see, I've already assigned a value for the temporary iterator. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to increment this temporary iterator. Okay. And here I'm going to replace this iterator 1 as temporary iterator. Let me replace it, temporary iterator. So this loop will run and find the temporary iterator. So consider I have found it. Okay. So what I am going to do is, I am going to get the index value, that is index of iterator 1, because that is what I need to find it out, right? So for that, I need to declare another variable called index. So this is how you need to declare a variable, guys. At the start of any program itself, you should not declare, or no one knows like how many variables that you are going to require. If anyone teaches you at the start of the program itself, just declare some 5 random integer variables and then use it wherever you need it, then that is a wrong way of teaching. Okay. Whenever you require a variable, just declare it then and there and use it. Fine. So if I have found out the starting point of my string 2 in string 1, then I need to take the index of string 1, that is the iterator 1, correct? Because that is what my output is. So I need to take the iterator 1 and store it in the index. Okay. So if I have found it out, then it will look fine. The program will perfectly works. Correct? But what if I didn't find it out? Okay. What if the value is not present inside the string itself? So what if the string 2 is not present inside the string 1? In the second case, no, in our second case. So I'm writing the thing again, input string 1 of temporary iterator, which is not equal to input string 2 of iterator 2. This case will work if you couldn't find this iterator 2. Correct? Okay. And if you couldn't find this iterator 2, you can give index equal to -1. Fine. And then you can type index equal to -1, and in the printf statement we'll look into that. We'll just return index equal to -1 if you think this is not working. So if index is -1, then what I can do is I can break it here itself. Since I couldn't find it, then what is the purpose of running this loop again? What is this break statement will do is, break statement, if a compiler sees a break statement, it immediately comes out of the for loop which it is running at present. Okay, so the first immediate for loop is this second for loop, so it will come out of the second for loop and it will start to run this first for loop. Okay, fine. Now here I need a one more parameter. For example, see, I have found out the index. Okay, but my string 1 has some another arguments also more to run. For example, if you see here in our case, our test 1, 2 and 3. This is my string 2, right? This string 2 is present at the index in string 1 from 4, 5. 1 second. So this string 2 is present in my string 1 from the index of 4, 5 and 6. Correct. But the string input 1 has totally 12 indexes to run. That for loop that I have given above, right, for the iterator 1 with iterator 1, it will run till input of 12, like the end, till the last, till G, this for loop will run, the above for loop will run. But it's no use, right, to check after I have found out the characters. I mean, after I have found out that string 2 is present inside the string 1 and I have calculated my output as well, then there is no use in calculating or running the yet another or the remaining inputs, right, remaining input string 1, right? If you do so, then it will unnecessarily increase your runtime, then unnecessarily it will delay your compile time as well, so your program output will be getting delayed. So for that, what you have to do is you have to stop the program or stop the execution of the above for loop if you have calculated the out, I mean if you have found the output. Correct? You need to stop it. So to stop it, I need another variable. So what my variable is string present. So initially I've kept it as 0. Okay. So if my index is found out, what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace is string present equal to 1. Okay. And then if this for loop got executed, I have found out the string and I replace my string present is 1 and it comes out of the for loop, then not necessarily this outer for loop, no, the input string 1 for loop has to run for the remaining characters. What I'm going to do, I'm going to break this for loop here itself. When I'm going to break it, if the input string is 1, I mean sorry, is string present value is 1, then I'm going to break it. So what this basically means is, if I have found out the index, then I'm going to break the execution of the input string 1 for loop I'm not going to unnecessarily run the for loop and waste my runtime and compile time. Okay, fine. So this is my logic. So once it is done, it will come back to the main function back again. And inside my main function, what I'm going to do, I have to print the value. So for that, I'm calling the another function called print output. You can directly print here also. Okay. So see, this is the best way to do, guys. Okay. This can be some time consuming, but it is the right way to do. So this print function is not returning anything. So print output, and for this my variable is int index. Index is an integer, right? So it is an int index. See, in our above cases, we are assigning value for the, sorry, here in this function, we need to return index. Okay, return index. Okay, so here in this index, we are assigning value -1 if the index is not found, and we are assigning the index value if index is found. Okay, so in this if loop, what I am checking, if the index is -1, then in the output screen, in the output printf screen, you just print no occurrences of string 2 found in string 1. Just print this if the index is -1. Okay, else you just print the index of the first occurrence of index of the first occurrence. Okay, the first occurrence of string 2 found in string 1. This you can type as the first occurrence of string 2 in string 1 is at index your percentage d. You can give that. And then here you just type the variable index. Okay. Now let's run this. Sorry. Now let's run this and we'll see it. Okay. If any in Visual Studio, if any error like this comes, then it shows a problem. So you can correct it then and there itself. Instead of going to the compiler and show the errors, you can compile it here and there itself. Syntax errors will be shown in the Visual Studio itself. Okay. So now let's run it. And let's give the input test123 string. And second is 123. You see the first occurrence of string 2 in string 1 is at index 4. Okay. Fine. So this is the program. But you can ask me, ma'am, this is the end of this program? Now let's see. Now let's this program work for all the case scenarios. Now let's see. Okay. Now let's run the program and for some other cases as well, and we'll see that. So this is the first case where we have found it like string 2 is present in the string 1. Now let's run for the second case whether the string 1 and string 2 both are different. Okay. You see no occurrence of string 2 is found in string 1. Got it. Now we'll run this program and see for the some rare case scenario which I have explained it earlier in the first intro slide itself. I've told you, right? My input is red coding, and my string 1 is red coding and my string 2 is red placement. You see, no occurrence of string 2 is found in string 1. You got it, right? It is also coming like this. Now, again, let's take another input. Test123 string 1223. See, no occurrence of string 2 is found in string 1. You can ask me, ma'am, here 1, 2 is there, but why it is coming like, see, the string 2 is 1, 2, 2, 3, and the string 1 is 1, 2, 3. So the number is not repeating. Okay. So this is the another test case scenario. So these are the some of the sample test cases. Like one is string is present in string 2 is present in string 1, and another is both the strings are different. and another is string 2 is not present in the string 1. Okay, and if you have come across it another test cases scenario, then try to apply that test cases scenario in this program and try to see if it works for the test case which we have found out. Okay, these are the some sample test cases that have come across for this problem. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And before we close our session, I like to share something with you guys. You people are aware about like we are having a YouTube channel. Likewise, we are having a company, Era Placement Training Institute, from which we are training our students to go to the some top companies as well. Any IT companies they want to go into that. We are giving a company specific training. For example, for Zoho, Google, Amazon, for that and all comes under the product companies, right? For that, we are giving a product company training. And for TCS, Infosys, Wipro and all, we are giving a service company training. And for the Byju's and October, these are marketing companies. So if anyone want or interested or coming in the final year and they want a job to get into these top companies means we are training them and we are getting them placed. We are a startup, so far we have placed some 30 to 40 students in these top companies. Okay, some of them are working in Zoho, Amazon and all already. So if you guys are interested and want to learn from us and get placed in the dream company of yours, and we'll happy to help. And this is the package of a product company. So we'll give you a individual specific training as well as company specific training as well. And if you take this product package, what are the things will be covered here is aptitude will be covered, and the programming languages starts from C till data structure, Java, Python, C++, SQL, everything will be covered. And that is a one round called advanced level coding, which is present in Zoho and Amazon and all. So Google also. So for that, we'll giving a special focus training in this product package, and some basic rounds: group discussion, essay writing, pseudocode solving, resume writing, tech HR, general HR, algorithm. So these are all some of the interview rounds or potential rounds. If you prepare for these rounds, no, you can able to crack any IT company interviews. Okay. So if you guys are interested to join a course in our institute, you can do a WhatsApp message to this number which is given in the screen, or you can ping to the number in the Telegram channel as well. So we'll give you more details regarding that. Okay. And with this, we'll come to an end to our video. I hope you guys liked it. And I'll try to upload as many videos as possible in the Zoho series and as early as possible as well. And I have told you some 2 questions earlier, right? Try to find answer for that. If you couldn't, we'll teach all kind of some those basic logics and tricks and tips in our classes. So join a course with us and get knowledge. Okay. We'll see you soon in another interesting video, guys. Till then, bye bye. Take care.